Okay, then from there, let's take our hands onto the sides of our ribs. And now we want to see if we can get our breath going into the sides of our ribs. So as we inhale, can you spread your hands wide with your ribs? And then as you exhale, give your ribs a little press and feel that sort of funneling sensation of the ribs to press the air out of the lungs. And you just breathe in your own time. If hands here is not comfortable for shoulders, you can wrap your hands this way, or you can rest your hands down and just let the breath come into the ribs and out. So we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good work. Really nice. All right, let those hands come down and just have a wee moment to feel that we're balanced on our sit bones. We're sitting as tall in the chair as we can. And we're going to start with a little bit of footwork, hands onto our knees. And we're just going to rise the heels up and then pop the heels back down. Rise the heels up. So it's just like a little pump through your feet. If you've got the stability, you can actually rise through your heels and go right onto your tippy toes and then through the balls of the feet and down. And if you want to, you might find if you're going to do that, it's easy to hold onto the sides of the chair. But there is the option just to go onto the balls of the feet and down. And if you have a little look, make sure that those ankles are in line with your toes and that we're not letting the ankles roll outwards or roll inwards. Let's just go for a couple more there. So rising the heels up and down and up and down. And then let's see how we go lifting the toes. So it doesn't make much movement, but it's like you're trying to lift the toes up and then pop them down. Lift the toes up and then pop them down. And you'll feel the fronts of the shins start to work a little bit. Watch out for cramp. And lift it up and down. Let's go for two more. So just peeling the soles of the feet from the ankles. Last one there. Good job. And then going into some single little pumps. So just 1 foot at a time. And for those of you that use the reformer, you'll recognize this as your kind of treading that we do on the foot bar. In fact, I think all of you use the reformer, don't you? Yes. Yeah. So just pumping one and then the other, and depending on how it feels in your legs, you can really push that ankle forward as you go. Good. And then if you want to, we can start to make this a little bit quicker so that it becomes a little bit more like a little prance on the spot. So it requires a wee bit more control through the tummy. You might want to use your hands under the chair to give you a little bit of support. And then if you want to, you can speed it up so you're kind of running on the spot. And this is totally leveling up, so you choose the level that suits you. If you're running, try and get those feet really articulating through. And if you're still just with the soft pumps, then just getting that gentle press forward of the ankle. And then let's bring both feet down to flat. Now we're going to see how we go with some little double jumps. Okay, so again, if feet off the floor is too much for your back and tummy, then just go through the feet as best you can. But if you're able to, let's see how we go with some little jumps. Think about using those low abdominals a little bit. And if you want a wee bit more challenge, you can take your arms up in front of you, because then you haven't got them to hold on. So just go with the level that suits you. And we'll go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then rest your legs down. Good. Nice work. Now from here, we're going to slide one leg away. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting with your feet in sand, and you could really push that sand away. Let the toes dig into the sand and then drag the heel back through the sand to stand, and then other foot, push it away. So what you might notice is the back of the leg starts to work. You probably find if you're right on the front edge of your chair will be easier, because otherwise you'll feel like you ride the chair as your legs straighten. So pushing out, imagining that sand or that thick gooey mud running between the toes, and then pull it back in, press it out. So you can keep going with those slides. If you want a wee bit more challenge, you can slide the leg out straight, hover it up, and then lower it down and slide it back in. Reach it out, lift it up, pop it down and come back. And if you're able to, as you slide that leg forward, see if as you lift the leg, you can keep the pelvis as it is. So we want to try and avoid sinking back in our chair if we can. So it might mean too that the range of your movement is slightly less. So just choose a range of movement with the lift that you can maintain that pelvis as best you can. So it's a good challenge. You'll feel the fronts of the thighs working a little bit, and so just go gently on these and how many you're doing of them. We're going to do one more on each side, either lifting or just sliding, and then coming in, and then the last one, reach it out, lift it up, pop it down and bring it back. Nice work. Now from here, take one leg out straight and just let the knee be kind of floppy, so you can kind of let the leg just stretch. And I want you, if you can, to find your kneecap. So it might be like a little pinch on the kneecap. See if you can wriggle it around. For some, it's not the nicest sensation. But what I want you to see if you can do then is actually like lift the kneecap up. So it's kind of like you contract the quad muscles, the thigh muscles, and see if you can lift the kneecap up and then let it release. And then contract the quad muscles and lift the kneecap up and then let it release. This is especially for you, Sue. Lift it up and let it. Pardon?
I just said hello to Sue.
Oh.
Hi, Doris.
Old, reunion, isn't it? Lift the kneecap up. And we'll do one more on that leg. Lift the kneecap up. And then let it release. And then we'll change sides. So slide the leg away. Let the kneecap be floppy. Give it a wriggle. Notice if that side is more mobile than the other. So oftentimes, especially if there's been injury, you might have one that feels a little more sticky than the other. But we're just going to do 6 little lifts. So thinking of contracting that quad, pulling the kneecap up, and then let it release. And then pull the kneecap up and let it release. So if you don't need the hand to kind of tell your brain where your kneecap is, you can just sit up straight, let it go, and let it release. And we'll do 2 more there. Pull that kneecap up and let it release. And pull the kneecap up. Good work. And then let it release. And then just bend your knees, pop your hands on your thighs, and see if you can give them a good wriggle. Let the muscle really rotate around the bone. Give them a real good flop around. Nobody can see. It's perfect. And it feels good. Alrighty. Last little one for our feet and our toes. We're just going to see if we can pull our toes in and then let them release. So if I bring this a little bit closer, I can show you what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this, like I'm trying to lift this arch of my foot and then stretch it back out. Lift the arch of the foot and stretch it back out. So rather than scrunching the toes up, see if you can keep the toes quite long and pull the arch up and then stretch it back out. Let's do 2 more. Both feet together, pulling it in and then stretching it out and then pulling it in and stretching it out. Good work. And then sitting up nice and tall, again, just on the front edge of your chair if you can. And we're going to do some little pelvic tilts. So hands on your thighs is probably a good place to be. And we're going to curl the tail to open up through the front of the hip. And then sit right back up high on those sit bones. And if it's comfortable, allow your pelvis to tip forward so you go onto the front of your sit bones. So you're going to tip back. And Valencia, on the ball, hun, you can sort of feel like you're rolling the ball forward and then rolling the ball back. And if anyone's done this on a Swiss ball, that's quite a nice image to think of, rolling the ball under the sit bones and then rolling the ball back. So we're just getting this nice little swishing sensation. Oh, good work, Janet. You've got your ball there. And then rolling back. And forward. And back. Good. 1 more. Let it go forward. And then let it come back. Nice one. So now hands down to the sides of the chair, or you can take them across your chest. We're just going to peel through the foot and hover one knee off. So it's a little bit like lifting the leg into tabletop and then place it down. We'll do this on an exhale so that we can engage those lower abdominals as we lift the leg, and then coming down and lift the leg. Let's just go a couple more. So you can stay pulsing through the femur arcs, or for a little bit more challenge, you could draw circles with your kneecap. So that's the optional extra for experts. And then let's go back in the other direction. So either just toe taps or little circles. You'll start to feel it work in the top of the hip. And then let that one come down. And then we'll do the other side. So we're going to float, and we'll see how we go for 4 or 5 circles in each direction. If you've had enough of the prancing through, then just take a little rest, and then back in the other direction for the circles if you're going with those. Good job. And then take a wee breath. Nice work. And then if you let your leg drop down if you can, so you might have to perch on the edge of your chair, use the back of the chair to hold on to, but we're just going to stretch the top of the ankle and press it back enough. Little stretch through the front of the thigh is good. Just go gently with this on these, so probably not such a good idea today. Just give it a wee stretch through there. And then we'll go over to the other side. So it's a bit experimental, some of this with you guys, because it's kind of, everyone's in a slightly different situation. Good job. And then come back to the center. Now I'm just going to turn off center. We're going to take our knees nice and wide, and we're just going to lean forward a little bit. So we get a nice wee stretch in the inside thigh there. That's it. So just leaning forward as much as you need to get that wee inside thigh stretch. Have a feeling of lengthening up through that spine, so you're nice and tall and straight through that spine. Good job. And then come back to the front. Now, hopefully we're all okay with this one. So go gently, see how you feel. It might be too much for the new knee. The other knee might be okay. But if you're able to cross your ankle over the knee, let's see how we go here, just to circle the ankle. And if crossing the foot over the knee is too much, then what you can do is you can just circle your ankle on the floor. So you can just do ankle circles this way. Just that if we can get our knee up here, we get a little bonus stretch into our piriformis. Go both directions with the circles. Circling it around. And then see if you can wiggle each individual toe, single them out. And if you've got your foot down, then you can scrunch your toes up on the floor and then spread them out. Maybe see if you can push one toe and then the other, working through a little bit like a Mexican wave. It's a really good challenge. And then if you are able to thread your fingers through your toes, Jane, you know how to do this one.
Yes.
Then you can hold hands with your toes. It can be a little bit uncomfortable. And if your hands don't like that, you can do it with your hands rather than with your toes. So that's the other option, is to look at getting your hands together rather than your toes. Good work. If you are able to do that there, give your foot a little shake. Stretch those toes. Good job. Oh, Sally, I'm glad you brought your cup of tea. It wouldn't be Pilates without your cup of tea, would it? Oh, don't tell everybody. All right, change feet, do the other leg, cross that one over. So either ankle circles on the floor, or you can cross the foot over and take your ankle circles here. Good work. And then back in the other direction. Nice one. And then see if you can thread your fingertips through your toes. Oh, this one's a little bit tighter. If that doesn't suit you, go with the hand clasp, so clasp your fingers. If you've got your hands, you can also do a bit of spaghetti and meatballs. Roll them around this way. A friend in America, her son named that spaghetti and meatballs. Little circles. Give your foot a wee shake. And then place that foot down on the floor. And if you have a wee look, if you did have your fingers in your toes, have a look at your toes and see how all the blood's come. And you may even have actually spread the spaces between your toes as well. All right, we're going to do a little bit of flexion. If it's comfortable for the shoulders, take the hands up behind the head. From here, we're going to nod through the head, neck, and shoulders and just slowly go forward. Now, being mindful of your spine, if you know you need to be careful of flexion, then take it very gently. If the flexion doesn't feel nice for you, then you can do a little flat back hinge forward and then coming back up. So it's a wee bit like doing chest lifts if we were lying on the floor. We're thinking of coming up and over. Elbows stay nice and wide. Be careful we're not pushing on our head. And then re-stack up to the top. Let's do a couple more there. So nod the head, rounding forward. You can also do this with the hands just across the chest if that feels better for you. Or just allowing those hands to sort of slide forward on the legs. Let yourself fold forward. And then coming all the way back up. Then from here, either hands behind, hands across your chest, hands resting. We'll do a little bit of extension. I quite like to have the hands behind my head for extension because it supports the neck. So if that's available to you, let's go with that. And then thinking of lengthening tall, if it's available to you, think of lifting that chest up to the sky. It doesn't have to be a big movement and then coming all the way up. So for some of us, actually just coming to lengthen the spine tall is enough. Adding in that little bit of extension if that's available. And then coming up. We're going to do 2 more there. So growing tall through the spine, shining that chest up and forward. And 1 more there. Lifting tall, shine that chest up. Good job. And then keep the elbows there. Bring the elbows in close. And then open the elbows out nice and wide. Bring the elbows in close. Open them out. 1 more. Bring the elbows in close. And open them out. Good job. And then from there, let's just shrug the shoulders up and down. Give the arms a little shake. Hands back onto your question. No, okay. Hands onto your knees. Take your legs a little bit wider. What we're going to do is we're going to slide the left hand forward and we're going to turn towards the right. So you can sort of use that hand on the inside of the knee to give you a little bit of push as you do your turn. And then come back through the center and rotate to the other side. If that feels confusing, feel free just to take hands across the chest and just add in a little bit of rotation for the spine, going gently. If spine rotation is too much, then feel free just to do a little head turn and a wee head turn. So your version of rotation, whatever that might be. Taking that twist, let's do this side. And then 1 more to the other side. And then come back to the center. Good job. We're going to do a little side bend. So our options here are hand behind the head, hand across the chest, or hand reaching high. Use the side of the chair if it's helpful, or otherwise just rest your hand on your thigh. And we're just going to take a little reach up and over to the side, and then come all the way up to the top. And then let's stay with that arm up. We'll do 2 more over to that side. For those of you who want a little bit more challenge, you can take both arms up and then coming up. So that requires a lot more work through the tummy. 1 more up and over. And then pull. And then same on the other side. Lift the arms up. Over we go. And if you want 2 arms for extra challenge, you'll work a little harder than everybody else. Up and over we go. Good. And then coming up. 1 more. Over we go. Good job. And then coming down. All right, now for the best bit. We take our hands, we pop them on our shoulders, and we give ourselves a nice little massage up around our neck and shoulders. It may be easier just to do, actually, let's just do one side. So take the right hand onto the left shoulder and just sort of sponge those muscles a little bit. Let the shoulder shrug up and down a wee bit as you go with that. So you really get that nice sense of sort of massaging into the side of the neck and the shoulder. And then continue down the arm. So it's like you're sponging the muscles out all the way down the arm. Good job. Let's do the hands and the fingers as well. So I sort of just squeeze as if it was like a sponge with water, and you just want to sponge the water out of it. And then just allow yourself to brush that arm down as if you were wiping the water off after the shower. Let it brush off. And then just take a little moment to sit and notice the side that we've sponged and brushed versus the other side. And then let's do the other side. So left hand to right shoulder, sponging into that shoulder a little bit. Good work. That's it. So let the shoulders shrug up and down a wee bit. And then continue down the arm, sponging into the arm. All the way down, forearms, hands. Good work. And then give it a nice big brush and brush and brush and brush. And then just let both hands hang down. Give them a wee shake. Nice work. Now from here, we're going to do some little arm arcs. So we're going to sweep the arms up and forward, palms up if you can. And then as we go back, turn the palms down as if you were pushing yourself through the water. And then sweep the arms up and forward and down and back. And so just go as wide as you need to clear your chair. Let it come up and forward and down and back and up and forward and down and back. Good work. And then a smaller range, just turn them and do like little figure of eights, like as if you were sitting in a skinny boat and you were just sweeping figure of eights through the water beside you. If you're comfortable in your shoulders to go for a little bit bigger range of movement, you can make it a little bit more sweepy and swingy. Just be careful of everything around. Good job. And just let them swing forward and backward. Forward and backward.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Good work. And then let them take a little rest. Take palms face up as if you had a platter on your hands, and we're just going to turn the arms out and then let them come back together. So this is quite good for the upper shoulders. Turn the arms out and come back. And take the hands together, so like a prayer position. Keep the elbows quite close to start with, but we're going to slide the palms down the front and let the elbows go wide. So everyone's range will be quite different. If you're able to we want to aim to keep the palms as close as possible. So go with your comfort and spread the fingers wide if you can. So I've kind of got like a real spread of my fingers. You'll feel the stretch in your fingers and also in the palms of your hands. That may be enough for some of you, just working on that stretch. Some of you may find that actually taking the palm forward and pulling the fingertips back towards you is better. So that could be another option for you also. But just work to wherever your comfort is. I know some of you, the hands won't want to do anything near this. Good job. And then I want you to scrunch the fingers together. So ball up your fists and then pop them open. And ball up your fists, pop them open, ball up your fists. Good work. One more. And pop them open. And then place the hands together, lace the fingers like we did before for some of you. And then we are just going to do that little wrist wriggle. That's it. See if you can go in both directions. Good. If getting your fingers together like that is enough of a challenge, then just work on trying to get them really close as you can. And then we're going to take them apart, but be careful when you take them apart because we're just going to swap so that we've got the opposite hand forward because we tend to always go the same. So just change, do the one that feels a bit strange, and then either spaghetti and meatballs the same or just working on getting that in there together. We okay? Have you swapped? Good work. Alrighty. and then let it relax. Give those hands a wee shake. Now, for those of you that are happy with it, we're going to stand up and just do a little bit of standing rises and plies. Okay, so standing with feet parallel, you can use the back of your chair for balance here. So you might want to just stand so you've got your hands on the back of the chair. We're going to rise up onto the toes and then lower back down. See if as you rise and lower, you can just keep your weight forward on the balls of your feet. So we're not rocking forward and back every time we go. So we're just rising up, really getting the calf muscles working. And if you want to challenge your balance, then just take very light fingertip touch on the back of the chair. Good. And then coming up. Then from here, we're going to bend. As we bend, make sure the knees go over the toes. So just like a little plie. As you bend, try to get your shoulders back over your hips. So we're not leaning forward. It's almost like we're just going to slide down the wall. To start with, our heels can just stay on the floor, bend and straighten, and just using that chair for balance. Fingertip touch for those of you that can do the wee challenge, or no touch, Valencia, if you're going okay without that ball. And then from here, just take one foot back a little bit for a little calf stretch. So take that foot back. For those of you that have got a wall nearby, you might find pushing on a wall is easier. But we're just finding that little stretch in the back of the calf. Good work. And then just bend that back leg a little bit so we get a little bit more stretch through the back there. So change your feet if you haven't already.
You're freezing a bit, Abby.
Am I? Oh, it might be because the kids are also on Zoom. We're nearly done. Hopefully it doesn't keep going. Fold your back knee a little bit. So we're just bending into that back leg, getting a slightly different stretch there. And then come up to standing, hands on the back of the chair or not. We're just going to take a single leg balance. So you can just see how you go with one foot off the floor using the tummy. The other leg can do whatever it wants to do. If you're feeling fancy with your balance, you could try bringing the knee up to the front and then back. Up to the front and then back. If you're happy just standing on one leg, then that's good. And if you're not happy standing on one leg, it's probably good to practice it. And then we'll change sides, standing on the other leg. Good job. And if you're happy with that, you can bring your leg up and back. Just finding that little bit of balance. Up and back. Good work. And then give your legs a shake, sit yourself back down, and we're just going to finish with a nice little neck stretch. I'll come in a little bit closer for this. So let's take the left hand, onto your right collarbone. So it's just going to sit on there, and then your other hand can come over the top. So I've sort of just hooked my fingertip over the shoulder, and then we're sort of just going to pull away from that a little bit. So it should give you quite a nice stretch down the side of the neck. So Sarah, just go gently with these. I know we've done them in the studio, but just go carefully on these with your neck. Yeah. Good work. And then same on the other side. I just have to avoid the microphone a little bit. So hand across, one on top, and then just pulling away a little bit. So it should give you a nice stretch. You're pulling away from the direction of your hands. Good work. And then let the hands rest. Now, for those that are comfortable with this, we're just going to turn and look over the shoulder and then drop the chin down to the collarbone. You might feel a wee stretch in the side you've turned away from. And then let's go back in the other direction. So chin just drops down to the collarbone. And then come back to the center. And then just with nice flat hands, just brush down your throat. Brush down your throat. Brush. And you can go over to the side, over to the side. over to the side. Good work. And then just at the back, just brush up, back of the neck. Good work. And then we'll just finish with a little bit of tapping on the face. So just soft fingers tapping over the face all the way around. Soft. You don't need to tap on the eyes, but you can come down on the jaw. That's it. And then all the way over the head. And you go. Good work. And then just let the hands drop into your lap. Gently close your eyes for a wee second. Thank yourself for coming. Hopefully you feel a little bit better than you did half an hour ago.